But this is what Captain Planet did. He had godlike superpowers, and he was more powerful than Superman. But all he ever did was fly onto the scene and give a speech and then leave. Deadline reports, Captain Planet and the Planeteers' long-awaited live-action adaptation is getting a big boost and a major twist. In a competitive situation, Netflix has landed for development Captain Planet, a live-action series based on the cult animated show. Okay, that's all you need to know. The long-awaited Captain Planet live-action reboot is coming. Long-awaited. By who exactly? I've never met anyone who's waiting for that. Have you? Has it ever come up in conversation with anyone in your life at any point ever? That what they're really waiting, you know what I'm waiting for? You know what I can't wait for? The Captain Planet live action reboot. But there is some poetry in it, I suppose, because in our decadent society, all we do is recycle stuff that already existed. That's all Hollywood's been doing for decades now. Mainstream Hollywood, of course, that's literally all they've been doing for decades. So why not recycle a 90s cartoon about recycling? It makes sense in a certain way. And Captain Planet, I think, is instructive, though. I was thinking about this. Not instructive in the way that it intended to be, but instructive for anyone who imagines, as it seems some people do anyway, that the really sort of in-your-face woke propaganda started recently. And that is not the case at all. The millennial generation grew up on left-wing propaganda in a big way. That's why my generation turned out the way it did. And in some cases, the propaganda was more extreme. It was more blatant, more radical than the stuff you see today. Captain Planet is a perfect example. Now, fortunately, it didn't work. I mean, the left-wing propaganda from Hollywood did work, but it didn't work from Captain Planet because the show was just so unfathomably lame. I remember watching it when I was like 6 years old. When I was 6 years old, I remember watching this show and going, what the hell is this bull? I remember turning over to my mom and saying, what is this bull, Mom? Are you seeing this? That's how I talked when I was 6. Not really. Kids, don't talk that way. But just to give you an idea, if this was before your time, and this is the show they want to bring back, Captain Planet, and this is a clip that was going viral on X. People were actually shocked that this is the kind of stuff that we were watching back in the day. But Captain Planet had an entire episode that explicitly promoted eugenics. Watch this.
Go Planet!
Did you know the population of the world is now more than 5 billion?
Wow, that is a lot of people.
And it's increasing by 90 million people each year.
But the Earth is not getting any bigger.
So when it is your turn to have a family,
keep it small. The more people there are, the more pressure we put on our planet. So take it easy on our Earth and conserve what you can.
So that was a message to an audience of children, right? There are too many people on Earth. It's bad to have a lot of kids. There are too many people. Have fewer kids. This is the kind of stuff they were saying to kids in like 1992. So wokeness is not new. But that's not my favorite example. Since we're taking a trip down memory lane here, I have to just play this. This was my favorite episode of Captain Planet. I still remember it to this day. Or at least I thought I remembered it, right? I thought I remembered it. It's kind of, it's sort of like that. What was the Shazam, the Sinbad movie that we all remember from the 90s, but didn't exist? And that's like, I do remember that. Apparently never happened. What if you could delay your next 2 mortgage payments? That's right. Imagine putting those 2 payments in your pocket and finally getting a little breathing room. It's possible when you call American Financing today. If you're feeling stretched by everyday expenses, groceries, gas bills, all that piling up, you're not alone. Most Americans are putting these expenses on credit cards, and there doesn't seem to be a way out. American Financing can show you how to use your home's equity to pay off that debt. You need to call American Financing today before you get to a point where you can't make those payments. Their salary-based mortgage consultants are helping homeowners just like you restructure their loans and consolidate debt, all without upfront fees. And their customers are saving an average of $800 a month. It's like a $10,000 raise. It's fast, it's simple, and it could save your budget this summer. Call now before it's too late. 866-569-4711. It's 866-569-4711, or visit americanfinancing.net/Walsh. Call American Financing today to find out how customers are saving an average of $800 a month. 866-569-4711, or visit americanfinancing.net/Walsh. NMLS.net/Walsh, NMLS 182334, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. And I wasn't sure if this one episode of Captain Planet, I wasn't sure if this fell into that category, because I remember an episode where a kid got AIDS, and it's not funny, the kid had AIDS, but he was a cartoon, so. And then Captain Planet flew down from heaven or wherever he was coming from and gave a speech about how it's still okay to hug him even though he has AIDS. And I thought I remembered that, but I wasn't sure if it was some kind of weird fever dream that I had. But yes, it turns out that my memory was correct. This episode actually happened. Again, this is the kind of stuff that millennials grew up watching. Okay, so it explains a lot. And here it is.
What's he doing here? He's not gonna infect my players.
Get him out of here! He's got AIDS!
It's okay, Coach. I don't want to cause trouble.
Stay put, Todd.
This is supposed to be a school, but I think these people need a little education about the HIV virus. May I have your attention, please? A lot of you are worried about AIDS, and there's a rat in your midst who's been spreading lies. Give him the facts, Coach.
You can't get AIDS from casual contact. Hugging, touching, they're okay. You can use the same water fountain or eat in the same cafeteria. It's safe.
You've been led astray by lies. Todd hasn't changed.
That's right. He's the same kid who played his heart out for you right here on this court last week.
Deal with the real, people. Get the facts. If Todd had any other disease, you'd be cheering him on.
Yeah, if Todd had any other disease, you'd be cheering him on. If Todd had herpes, you'd all be applauding and saying, yay, herpes. If Todd had gonorrhea, you'd be throwing a parade right now and saying, hey, look at gonorrhea, man. Isn't he so great with his gonorrhea? But now that he has AIDS, suddenly it's a problem. Suddenly everyone's all weird about it. That was Captain Planet's speech. You got to feel bad for old Todd. I got to say, you got to feel bad for the kid. I mean, first of all, he has AIDS. So that's a tough break. And second, you got the coach of the team and Captain Planet giving a speech about his AIDS to the whole auditorium. It's humiliating. If I were Todd and I was in this situation, I would want Captain Planet to go to the audience and say, hey, I know you've heard the rumors that Todd has AIDS. He doesn't. He's fine. That's how you'd want Captain Planet to save the day. Like everyone's whispering about how you have AIDS, and then Captain Planet shows up. And so I'd be saying to Captain Planet, oh, thank God you're here. Can you go tell these people I don't have AIDS? Instead, Captain Planet turns to the crowd and says, attention, everyone. Listen now. Yes, Todd here, who's standing right here, he has AIDS. You are all correct. This person right here, Todd, right here, this guy has AIDS. Just so everyone knows. Put it on the morning announcement tomorrow. But the good news is you could still shake his hand, unless he has an open wound, in which case I wouldn't. So that's rough. That's a rough series of events for Todd. But this is what Captain Planet did. He had godlike superpowers, and he was more powerful than Superman. But all he ever did was fly onto the scene and give a speech and then leave. That was it. Like a real waste of talent, honestly, a waste of skill. Yeah, it's like if the Hulk, the only thing he ever did was show up to, open pickle jars. It's just like, it's overkill. It's we don't need you for that, is what I'm saying. And by the way, there was, when you watch that, if you're from a different generation and you watch that, and it seems totally bizarre, it was, but, and again, explains a lot. That's the theme here. There was a lot of this kind of stuff for, my generation growing up, like AIDS content. There was a ton of AIDS related content, for kids. I can remember being in health class in like 5th grade and having a whole subject. It was like a whole course on AIDS. And meanwhile, of course, no one in this class has to worry about this. If you're not using intravenous drugs and you're not engaging in homosexual activity, you're not going to get AIDS. You'll be fine. But they didn't want to tell you that, so they wanted to tell you it was an equal opportunity disease. And I honestly believe that's the starting. Then COVID happens, decades later, and you got a bunch of millennials who were freaking out about it, total hypochondriacs. And I think that this is part of the reason why. Is that a lot of millennials grew up being told that about all these horrific diseases, and we were told that anyone can get them. It doesn't matter what kind of lifestyle you lead. I think it turned everyone into a bunch of panicked hypochondriacs, all because of Captain Planet. If you'd like to see what else I have to say, you can access my full show by going to dailywire.com or by going to the Matt Walsh Show Twitter page. Hope to see you there. Godspeed.